your angles. The mistakes we're seeing. My other class took this quiz and they're ignoring keywords. If I circle something or underline something, please do that. I don't have any extra copies of this. If you don't have this, just copy down what we're doing. You are responsible to know the names of the different polygons up to dodecagon. What's a hexagon? 6. What's another word for sum? Like total or total? Interior. Side board. What's the only thing we really know about the interior? We know this formula, -2 180. So this section is just testing whether you know the names and whether you can use this formula. This was written down on the side board, and a lot of people in my other class did n times 2 instead of n minus 2. 720 what? Degrees. 15 gone. 15 minus 2 times 180. What is 13 times 180?
2,340.
2,340 degrees. If you're looking for a total on the inside of something, it's going to be a larger number. Even though you're dealing with formulas and words, have a picture in your mind. If I'm looking at a hexagon, I've got something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just adding up all the different angles inside the figure, and that's going to always total 720 if it's a hexagon. Second section. It still says sum. It still says interior, but this time we are finding the number of sides.
Backwards.
We're working backwards. What is the variable that we're using for the number of sides? N. Anytime you're looking for a variable, you probably should set up an equation. So they're giving us the total and saying work backwards and figure out the number of sides. If you want to get rid of or deal with the multiplication of 180 right here, how do you get rid of that? Divide by 180, divide by 180, that gets rid of that. I'm left with n minus 2. What is 900 divided by 180? 5? 5 is not the answer.
7.
Add 2, and equals 7. This problem only wanted the sides. If I wanted it classified or named, what is a 7-sided figure? Hepta or septa. Hexagon, either one I would accept, and you might see either one show up on standardized tests. So you can do that if you want to. You can set up that equation, or what are the 2 steps? You divide by 180 and then so you could just take 2520, divide by 180, and then add 2. Think of it as another formula. Does that equal 16? And if I wanted to name it, 16 gone. There is a long prefix name in Greek, but we just tend to use -gon. So same idea, but working backwards. Where are these angles, interior or exterior? Interior. If I'm looking for a variable, which I am, I need to set up an equation. I've got x. I've got 88, 105, 142, 140, 124. What I don't have is the total. How do I find the total on the inside? -2 times 180. We're still interior, and that's the only thing we know about the interior is the total. How many sides? If you have trouble counting the sides, if there's a lot of sides, just count the angles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 angles, 6 sides, same amount. 6 minus 2 times 180, all of that will give you 720. And everybody should be able to solve that equation. Take your time. Make sure you're adding things correctly. X equals 121. It said value. I don't need a degree measure. If it asks for a measure, then I would put down degrees or units. Same idea over here. Interior, n minus 2 times 180. How many sides?
5.
5 minus 2 times 180. That is going to give me 540 degrees. Just put together everything on the inside. 2x, 3x, 86, 64, 110. Five x, 260, 540. Little subtraction. X equals 56. Once again, it's just a value. Pay attention to directions. Don't assume that the problem just stops there. Maybe you have to take it a bit further and actually figure out the angle measures. In this problem, you didn't. But pay attention. Page 2. Where are these angles? Exterior. What's the only thing you know about the exterior? 360. So, exterior, always 360. I've got all 5 here, x plus 2x plus 4x plus all the rest, 7x, 150, 7x, 210, x equals 30. Double check. All I need is the variable, I'm done. Why 360? Because it's exterior. 6x, 6x, 8x, 20x. 20, 100, 60, 180. I'm consolidating here. X equals 9. There's only so many things you can do. We have not talked about regular, and we have not done the very last or fourth thing that I wrote down on the sideboard. That's what we're going to use down here. Notice what I'm circling and underlining. Mistakes we're seeing, people are ignoring directions. You might have to determine a total, but in the end, you have to determine an individual angle also. So you could think of this as find each angle. So we'll put interior here, and we'll put exterior here. Don't forget about the information in the problem also. What does regular mean?
That's going to equal 720.
Means equal. Everything's equal. Sides, angles, both interior and exterior. And that means we can divide. So some people are looking at this problem and they're doing everything they should, but they're only determining totals. They're not doing the division part and figuring out each angle. Some people just stared at the problem until they moved on to the next problem because they didn't do anything with that. What does that tell you? 6 sides. You can't do any of this if you don't know that. For interior and exterior, I always jump to the exterior because That's easier. What's the total on the outside? 360. So I'm going to go over here. The only number I have is 6, so I've got 360 degrees divided by 6 sides. That gives me 60 degrees where? You could figure out the total on the inside and then do some division, or what's the last thing that I've written down on the sideboard? What do they form? So what does this have? Done. Make a picture. This one was pretty easy because it's a hexagon. I could draw 6 sides, but I'm not going to. I'm going to draw 3 sides. I'll extend 2 of those sides. It's regular, so I know the rest of the figure looks the same. There's no need to draw the rest of the figure. I found 60 out here. If I continued the figure, I would get more 60s on the exterior angles. This is a straight line. That's how we got the 120 right next to each one of them. Do this for problems where you don't know the number of sides, or if there's a large number of sides. There's no need to keep going and drawing an immense figure when you know the rest of it looks exactly the same. Like number 10. Value of n, regular n-gon. I don't know what n is, and that's what I'm looking for. So I can't possibly draw a figure where I don't know the number of sides. But I can draw a couple of sides and put a couple of exterior angle extensions. And this one wants exterior. Each exterior. People in my other classes are figuring out totals and then stopping. If it says each, and I'm being told that it's regular, what operation am I probably going to do? What operation? Division. I'll probably divide at some point. If you see a problem that has the word regular in it, and you haven't divided at any point, the chances are you're missing out on something. Even if this said interior angle, I would still go to the outside. I would still do 360, and I would divide by this 45. In this problem, I'm dividing by the number of sides, I get an angle. Down here, I'm dividing by the angle, so what am I going to get here? Number of sides, which should be 8. And that's really what I'm looking for. Where does the 45 go? That goes on the outside. I would still do all of this if it asked for interior, and then I would just do a little bit of subtraction to figure out the interior. Is that asked for here? No, so I don't need to have that in the problem. So take the path of least resistance, go to the outside, figure that out, and come back to the inside. Or if you're just looking for the outside, you're done. There's not a whole lot of variation here. You are doing one of those things or a combination of those things somehow. Everybody in here can read. I know it. Any questions before I give you the quiz? Quiz, you're going to have 30 minutes. 20 questions, 30 minutes. A lot of these take you 2 seconds to do. Any questions on any of these? Anything I need to go over? When you finish, you're going to pick 2 things up. You'll take a geometry scavenger hunt, and you will pick up the first quadrilateral notes. Is there anyone who didn't get the algebra assignments? It's due on March 20th or the 23rd, depending on snow days.
I'm probably gonna need another one.
Another one?
You want it out through here? Hey, you want it? There's two. Wait, on this. Ted, unless you're gonna keep one for me.